welcome. The props that we're going to need today are our blanket, a nice comfy blanket rolled up. This blanket is going to be used as a bolster. So if you have a bolster at home, please use it. If not, roll it up. So I've got mine. It's about our foot long, and then it's quite thick. We want something that's quite thick that can support a good amount of weight. So a blanket is good for that. Another blanket or like a full-size beach towel would be good too as well. I have a full-size beach towel. It should work pretty well. If you only have regular towels, maybe grab a couple of them. Yeah, we'll just have that off to the side. We are going to start on our backs in constructive rest pose. So laying down with your feet wider than your hips so that your knees fall in towards each other. Thighs touching. And this position with our feet wider than our hips on the mat, the knees either together or the upper thighs or lower thighs rather touching helps broaden the low back, broaden the back of the pelvis. That's what we're looking for here. Arms can rest alongside the body, maybe let them spill off the mat if that feels pleasurable. We're just going to take a few moments here to center. You're always welcome to put something behind the back of your head if you need, but if you don't, just head rests heavy on the floor. You're welcome to lower your gaze or close your eyes and just check in with how are you today? You might even want to, in your mind, say to yourself, you could even use your name. Say, your name, how are you doing this morning? How are you doing? And greeting yourself with a smile or perhaps an inner smile to your mat, to your practice, welcoming yourself here. And do your best to soften your belly. And letting what's touching the mat surrender to the floor. So we're going to begin our practice by chanting a deconstructed Ohm. So Ohm consists of 3 sounds, Ah, O, and And each of those sounds, we're going to try to feel a vibration in a particular area of our body. We'll take an inhale between chanting each sound. I'll guide you through it, but here's just a little bit of information. So we're going to inhale and say, ah, and see if we can feel it vibrate our heart space, our chest. And then we'll inhale again and say, ooh, and see if we can feel it in the throat. I find that if I go to a higher note, I feel it more in my throat, and it's lower when I feel it in the chest. And then if I go a little higher, we take an inhale, and then we finish with that we vibrate it in the head. So we'll do 2 rounds of that, and I'll guide us through it. Exhale completely. Inhale to ah in the chest. Ah. And inhale for ooh in the throat. And inhale for in the head. Let's do all three once more. Inhale for ah in the chest. Inhale for ooh in the throat. And in the head. Notice the rhythm of your breath. And then let the thighs come apart. Walk your feet a little closer together so that the feet and thighs are about hips width distance apart. We'll do a little bit of pelvic tilt. Inhale, soften the belly. Exhale, draw your tummy in, press your low back to the mat. It's going to cause your pelvis to tilt forward. On the inhale, relax everything. The low back will come a little off the mat. Exhale, draw belly in, press low back to the mat. The tail kind of scoops. Inhale, pubic bone moves away from the mat. Relax the belly. Exhale, low back to the back. Low belly to the back. Press low back to the mat. Just like that, tilting the pelvis forward and back. The exhale is when we flatten the low back to the mat using the strength of our core. The inhale is when our pubic bone, the front of our pelvis moves away from our chest. Do one more round. And then coming to a neutral pelvis. And the neutral pelvis is where we are neither excessively arching in the low back, so the low back's not super high off the mat, and the low back is not pressing into the mat. And everyone tends to either over excessive, like in some way, we are prone to either have the belly come forward and sway in the low back, or some of us are more prone to just kind of moving through our day with the tailbone kind of scooped and the low back flattened. So we want to find a nice neutral position between those two points. Let's roll on to our right side. Well, roll onto one side, any side you like. And then knees bent in a fetal position. You're welcome to prop your head up in some way if you need. And bring your top hand to your low rib cage. So have the thumb on the back of the rib cage or moving that direction, and the index and middle finger touching the front of the rib cage or moving that direction. And then I'd like you to notice as you breathe, see if you can breathe into your hand and breathe into the mat. So inhaling, expanding the back of the ribs, the side of the ribs, 360 degrees expansion. Exhale, feeling the ribs come in. And this doesn't have to be super exaggerated, just a nice gentle expansion, 360 of the ribs. And then exhale, relaxing. Let's do that a couple more times. Feeling the ribs flare out As we inhale, the low ribs, that is, exhaling, relaxing. This is going to kind of help our diaphragm evenly expand on both sides. You're feeling the ribs go into the mat as well. Good. And then we're going to take our, you can let that go. Take your top foot, bring it in front of you, and then extend the bottom leg. We're going to do some leg lifts with our lower leg. Flex the bottom foot. And as you exhale, do 2 lifts. Exhale. And as you inhale, do 2 lifts. Exhale is 2 lifts and lowers. Inhale, 2 lifts and lowers. Exhale, 2 lifts. Inhale, 2 lifts. Exhale, 2 lifts. Inhale, 2 lifts. One more time. Exhale, 2 lifts. Inhale, 2 lifts. And relax. Roll onto your back. Knees bent, feet on the floor. Notice the hips, both sides. And then we'll move on to the other side. So fetal position, opposite side. And practicing our breathing. So there's a lot of different ways you can breathe, obviously. There's a yogic soft belly breathing, very helpful for relaxation. Sometimes breathing excessively in the ribs, breathing excessively into the rib cage without filling the belly can not be relaxing, can be a little more, creates a little bit more anxiety. But what I'm asking you, it's not so much I'm asking you to breathe up into the top of your ribs. I'm asking you to pay attention to the bottom of your ribs. So bring that hand to the bottom of the ribs. And so the diaphragm, this sheet of muscle between our guts and our lungs, if you want to get technical, your guts, there you go. And then breathe, inhaling, inflating the low ribs, exhaling, letting the ribs come back. And what you're doing with your belly as you do this is you can just gently draw the low belly in just a little bit. So it's a little activated. Your pelvic floor is slightly lifted as you exhale, and as you inhale, you're letting your pelvic floor soften if that's meaningful to you. If it's not, that's okay. Just let it go. And you might find it's easier to expand the ribs on one side. That's normal, or that's common, rather. And for you, just notice, how does that feel? How does it feel in your mind or emotionally as you breathe like this? We can hold a lot of tension in our diaphragm. And okay, you can let that go for now. Let's strengthen our adductors. So front foot, exhale, 2 lifts. Inhale, 2 lifts. Exhale, 2 lifts. Inhale, 2 lifts. I know this isn't necessarily a yoga pose, a yoga movement, but it's so fabulous. It's so good for your adductors. Um, and really, anything can be yogic if you're paying attention to your breath and you're being aware of what you're doing. And let's do one more round of breath. Good, and then release. Okay, let's roll back onto our backs. Knees bent. Just taking a moment, noticing. And then drawing your knees into your chest and circling the knees over the pelvis. And going the other direction. Good. So we'll do a floating cobbler. Take the knees wide, soles of the feet come together. A cobbler pose is floating in the air. You're going to grab a hold of either your ankles, reaching between the legs, pulling the feet towards the groin, or maybe you can interlace the fingers around the edges of the feet. A few breaths here. Relax your belly, relax your pelvic floor. And then release. Either rock a little side to side, or for some people, this feels really good. If you like to rock up and down the spine, massaging the back, you can do that too. So, rocking in a way that feels good for you this morning. And then we're all going to eventually make our way up into a seat. All right. So I encourage you for this to come to sit either on your beach towel or bath towel, or if your hips are kind of tight, sit on your bolster, your blanket. Okay. I'm going to start on my beach towel. We'll see how it goes. Okay, crossing right ankle in front of left. Just sitting in Sukhasana, cross-legged position. And then take your right hand to the mat. Reach your left arm up overhead and side bend. Walk your bottom hand a little further from your hips and bend that bottom elbow as you rotate your heart to the left, anchoring the left hip to the floor. Inhale, come on up. Let's take a twist to the right. Left hand to outside of right knee. Opposite hand goes behind you. Look over right shoulder, lifting your heart vertically away from your belly button. So here's a nice place to practice this 360-degree low rib expansion. Inhaling, expanding, even though you're in a twist. Exhaling, drawing the low ribs in. Keep the twist, turn to look forward and then over left shoulder. Soften your jaw, soften your forehead. And gently come on out of it. Palms come together in front of your heart. Draw your low tummy in. And with an inhale, reach the arms out. Maybe you stay here if your shoulders are sensitive today. Maybe you reach all the way up overhead. On the exhale, we all join with palms together in front of the heart. Now, we'll keep moving like this. If any of you need to be in a chair for this, you're welcome to do that as well. One more inhale, reaching out and up. Exhale, hands come through the heart. And then fold forward over your crossed ankles. And this position, it's not important how low you bring your head to the ground, or how far away your hands get from your hips. What we're interested in here is just feeling a release in the hips, a release in the low back. If this feels unbreathable, you probably need to be with higher hips. You probably need to sit up on that blanket. Let your head go, relax your face. And then walk the hands back towards the body. Come on up. Take your heart and turn quarter turn to the left. And now you're going to fold over left knee. We're breathing a little bit more space into the right sideways. And walking the hands as far as feels breathable away from your body off to the left here. And then come on up. Kick both legs out in front of you. Walk the hands back behind you. Fingertips point away from each other. Bend the elbows towards each other. And then press your butt into the floor and lift your heart away from your belly button. Looking up, little back bend here. Flex the feet so the toes peel towards the knees. And then point the feet. Toes point forward. Once more, flex and point. Good. And then coming back to cross-legged position, left ankle crossed in front of right, left hand to the mat. Inhale, reach right arm up. Walking that left hand maybe a little bit further away from the hips as you turn your heart to the right and breathe into the right ribs. Let the inhale bring you back up. Let's move it into a twist from a tall spine, twisting to the left. I like to use the back of my right hand as a little lever to help turn. Shoulders sliding away from the ears. 360-degree low rib breath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Keep lifting the chest. One more round of breath. Keep the twist. Turn to look either forward or over right shoulder. And then untwist. Draw low belly in, lift chest. Inhale, reach the arms up, palms together. Exhale, hands back to heart space. Once more, reach up. Exhale, hands through heart space. And then fold over, cross legs. Walking hands as far away from your hips as feels pleasurable, breathable. We're lengthening the spine. Take one more big, slow inhale and exhale. And then come on up. Quarter turn to your right. Fold over right knee. And as you do this, opposite hip's probably going to try to pop up. Anchor it down. Continue to lengthen the left side waist. And then inhale, come on back up. Interlace your fingers in front of your heart and rotate your palms away from you. You're welcome to stay here or pause at any juncture, but slowly inhale, lifting arms, and maybe you pause somewhere. Maybe you go all the way up. Lift, lift, lift. It's okay if your shoulders come up as you do this. Lengthen the spine, straightening the elbows. Maybe you get your thumbs a little closer towards the ceiling. And then exhale, gently release and rotate your wrists as you bring them out to the sides and down. Good, rolling the shoulders. Next, we're going to come onto our hands and knees. Feel free to place a blanket under your knees if you need. And just regular cat-cow. So exhale, rounding the back, dropping the head. And then inhale, lifting your head and tail, broadening the chest. Once more like that, exhale, round the back, drop the head. Inhale, broaden the chest. And then come back to a neutral spine. And now we're going to do a variation of kind of like cat-cow. It's called Chakra Vakasana. On an inhale, you broaden the chest. So my shoulders are over my wrists right now. And then on an exhale, I round my back, draw navel to spine, send hips back, send shoulders, come behind the hands, and then rear to the heels, drop my head to the floor, like child's pose, rounding. And then as the inhale comes up, we come up through hands and knees. Now my shoulders over my wrists again, broad chest. This is our cow. Good. Exhale, round the back, send the hips back, release the head, sitting on the heels or moving that direction. And then inhale, broadening the chest, coming back through all fours. Let's do that twice more. Rounding. Inhale through hands and knees, broad chest. Last one. And then we'll all end in child's pose, sitting back. You can have the knees together or wide. For this child's pose, though, I ask that you walk your hands as far away from your hips as you can, elbows lifted off the floor and straight. We want to lengthen our spine, lengthen the arms here. Reach your heart away from your waist. Good, and then come on up. Let's meet in mountain pose, Tadasana. Let's meet at the back of our mat. Feet very intentionally placed underneath our hips. And then draw the thigh bones back till the hips are over the heels. Let the knees slightly bend. Draw the low belly in, and then bring your hands to your hips. And so because I've drawn my hips back, I'm kind of like leaning forward. I'm going to have to scoop my tail a little bit in order to bring myself up So lengthening your tailbone down towards the floor, draw low belly in, and now lengthen and lift your heart vertically as you draw your ribs back over your hips. So your abdominal wall, front abdominal wall, you're pulling it back to help stabilize this position. And then just standing here, mountain pose. Ears over shoulders, broad chest. Exhale completely. And then with an inhale, reach out and up. Feel the strength of your abdominal wall pulling in. Exhale, hands together in front of the heart. So keep pulling the abdominal wall, the front one, in and in as we reach up. And then exhale, hands through Anjali Mudra. One more time. And then meeting with palms together in front of heart. Shift your weight into your left foot and slowly lift the right foot. Now you can keep the right toes on the floor. What I'm interested in here is you're working on balance. You're not having to hold on to the wall. You're using the low belly muscles to pull the abdominal wall in. This is a core exercise. You might be here. You might be here. Wherever you are breathing. And then let's just take a little step. Right heel, ball of the foot, bend the right knee, turn the back toes out just a little bit. And here we are, modified warrior one, just a little itty bitty baby one. You might have your warrior one be here, totally cool. Square your hips to the front of your mat. So if you're like me, maybe your left hip is like trying to pull you open. See if you can drag that left hip forward and then lifting the heart vertically. Feel the stretch, feel your breath. You might stay here. You might do the arms that we just did. So the inhale, reaching out and up. Exhale, hands down through heart center. Keep pulling the front abdominal wall in. Last one, strong left glute. Good, and then step forward, mountain pose. And just check in, slightly bend the knees, float the hips back a little bit. Make sure the feet are parallel. And then lengthen your tail a little bit as you draw your belly in. So we're not tucking our tail, but we want to make sure that the low back isn't hyper swayed. Then draw the front ribs back. Ears over shoulders. Rotate the palms forward, mountain pose. On an inhale, reach out and up. Palms meet overhead. Exhale, hands through heart center. Shift your weight into your right foot, lifting left heel. And feel your breath. Maybe the left foot's lifted. Something to consider here is sometimes when we work on balancing pose, we kind of shift our weight into our hips, which isn't, I mean, it's not terrible, but you really miss out on an opportunity to strengthen the hips. So I want you to try to really push that standing leg into the floor as you lift up out of the hips. Feel your breath. Feel all the magical things that are going on in your right ankle right now. Help you keep balanced. And then we'll take a little baby step forward. Front knee stays bent, straighten back leg. Turn the back toes out a little bit. Squeeze the right glute. And just check, did the right hip try to escape? Is he trying to run away from the front of the mat? He or she? I don't know. What kind of hip do you have? Okay, then draw the right hip forward, squaring hips and shoulders to the front of the mat. Feel your breath. As you keep the abdominal wall, the front one, pulling back. You might stay here, you might move the arms. Inhale, reaching up. So it becomes a little bit more of a core exercise as you reach up or out. And again, You're welcome just to reach the arms out to the sides if reaching arms overhead isn't a good fit for your shoulders. Let's do one more. And then step forward, mountain pose, rest. Okay, so we're gonna need a wall for this next portion. Find a wall somewhere nearby. We'll go over to that wall. We're gonna practice tree pose at the wall, and we're gonna use the wall to help us keep an open chest, and we're gonna use all that we've been working on with our mountain pose for this tree. So the feet are parallel underneath you, and depending on the shape of your body, it may be just your rears touching the wall, or there may be one part of your body that's touching the wall, and then the other parts of your body are very close, okay? Shift the weight into your left. Whoa, let's shift it into the right foot. No, left, just kidding. Left, let's shift to the left foot. Bring your gaze to something non-moving in front of you. And then you're gonna swing the opposite knee out. That's your right knee. So we're all on our left foot, or not. And you're welcome to anchor that ball of your foot to the floor as you open up. Bring the hands about 8 inches away from your hips on the wall, and then rotate the palms to away from the wall. So the backs of the hands are on the wall. Draw scapula, the shoulder blades together behind you. Lift up out of that hip. Feel the low belly pulling in, the front abdominal wall pulling back. And then sometimes the head wants to come forward here. Be sure that the ears are over shoulders. Feel your breath. Lifting up out of that left leg. Maybe giving yourself a little smile. Welcome to your tree pose. And then release. Second side. Right weight in right foot. Swinging left knee out. Bringing backs of the hands to the wall. Thumbs are pointing kind of out or up, rather. And we're not leaning against the wall. We're using the wall to kind of anchor our mind towards. We want to move the back plane of our body towards the wall, while still balancing. The weight of our body is on our right foot, but the left outer knee, we're like, move that direction, move to the wall. It's not going to touch the wall. Avoid over gripping in that left hip. But the backs of the hands can help us broaden the chest. As we press the backs of the hands into the wall, we're lifting the heart. Maybe we could even move the back of the head towards the wall, to the wall, only if that helps us keep the head over the heart. One more breath. And then release. Mountain pose. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, hands to heart space. Now, here's where you're going to anchor your butt to the wall. You're going to lean against the wall, walk your feet a little forward. My feet are about half a foot away from the wall. Bend your knees and then hinge from your hips and fold forward. Let your butt resting on the wall behind you help facilitate just a nice lazy back the leg stretch. My knees are bent here, letting the spine hang long. You could even kind of bounce just gently the upper body, kind of releasing any tension in the spine, maybe walking the hands a little to the right. Let the head go, or walking the hands a little to the left. Experiment what feels pleasurable, what feels like a release here.
Gazing between the knees, release the neck. One more breath here. And now to come out of it, maybe you bend your knees a little bit more. Roll up one vertebrae at a time. Rolling up. Head's the last thing to come up. Okay. Now that we're up, let's get down to the floor. Have your rolled up blanket or your towel handy. Once again, which one do you pick for this next one? Well, if the backs of the legs, you know your backs of the legs, the hips are real tight, sit on the thicker one. If not, sit on the thinner one, okay? Let's come into Cobbler's Pose, just seated. Soles of the feet together, just sit nice and tall. Now we're going to do some variations of the Janu Shirshasana. Extend your right leg forward. Left foot moving towards the groin. Sitting nice and tall. Head over heart over pelvis. Now, if you get into this position and you are finding you're unable to sit tall, the backs of the legs feel tight, that's when you're going to need to reach for the thicker blanket or prop yourself up higher. Let's move into a twist with the right foot flexed. Turning heart to the right. Right hand comes back behind you. You can use that left hand like the lever to twisting. And we want this twist to be aimed at your thoracic spine, so the heart area, the chest area, to help release tension in the shoulders. Once again, come back to that 360-degree low rib breath, inhaling. And to the back body too, exhaling. Slowly untwist. And now we're going to fold over right leg. I'd like you to have your heart reaching as far as it can towards your toes. And here's the place where you want to kind of stick your butt out. You want your belly to get closer to the thighs, or really release the belly onto the thighs. You might be able to grab a hold of some aspect of your foot. That's cool. If not, that's cool too. Gaze down at the knee as you continue to extend your spine, reaching your heart away from your navel. Long spine here. The tendency with this pose, and there's benefit to it sometimes, is to kind of round. That's cool, but like what I'm going to ask you to do here is instead broaden your chest and just hinge right from where your legs plug into your body. And then inhale, come on up. And you're going to quarter turn your heart to the left, over left knee. Right hand comes to the inside of the leg, onto the mat. Left arm reaches up, and just have the left arm reaching straight up right now. Continue with your spinal extension. Think back bend here. And then side bend over right leg. Heart turning to the left. Once again, creating space on the left sideways. And here the tendency also will kind of be to like maybe how close can I get my hand to my foot, and that's going to cause your heart to turn to the mat. We want our heart to turn towards the ceiling to the left, right? It won't go that direction, but I mean, it won't get, maybe it will, I don't know. Maybe you're more flexible than I am, probably are. Keep breathing. And then come on up. Let's do the second side. Extend the left leg, right heel towards groin. Lift spine. We want head, heart stacked over pelvis. Turning heart to the left. lifting and turning head over left shoulder. And I encourage you not to sacrifice your spinal length for the twist. So if you can't twist as far when you're sitting tall, that's okay. Maybe you twist further if you're rounded in the back, but that's not what we're after. We want to target those tight areas that are not allowing us to twist very far. One more 360-degree breath. And then untwist. Fold over left leg. Spinal extension still. Heart reaching out of waist. You can imagine every time you inhale, your spine gets longer from the tail of your tailbone to the crown of your head. Inhaling, lengthening. Every exhale, softening the backs of the legs. And then inhale, come on up. You're going to quarter turn to the right. Left hand to the inside of the leg on the mat. Right arm, just reach it up for a second. Get your body used to the twist. Back bend. Think of a back bend here. Open chest. And then side bend. And of course, if your shoulders don't do this, maybe you just keep the arm extended out like this. Palm up. Breathing space into the side, right side waist. Inhale, come on up. Okay, real quick, bridge pose. Come onto your back. Knees bent, feet on the mat. Take a moment, feel your spine on the floor, and grab a hold of the edges of your mat. Press your feet down to lift the hips, and then walking the shoulder blades a little closer together, and then maybe walking the hands away from your heart along the edges of the mat. So you're kind of walking the hands down the mat. We want to energetically be drawing our inner thighs towards each other. Please try to avoid letting the knees fall out. And then lifting the hips. Feel the glutes fire up. Feel them strong. Keep gazing up. Anytime we are in bridge pose, we want to always be looking straight up as to not compromise the neck. One more breath. And then exhale, rolling down the spine one vertebrae at a time. Pause, rest. Taking the feet as wide as the mat, start to windshield wiper the knees side to side. Pausing, knees right. And then pausing, knees left. So the feet aren't touching each other. They're like separate windshield wipers. And then come back through center. We'll roll to one side. Slowly come on up. Okay, for Shavasana today, we're going to do elevated legs up the wall pose. Locate a wall you would like to put your legs up on. And here's how we're going to do it. You're going to take that big blanket that you have. Be sure that it's rolled up so it's going to be a bolster for you. Nice thick bolster. This is what your pelvis is going to rest on. Take your beach towel or stack of towels And I'd like you to make a big fettuccine noodle, like a tall fettuccine noodle though. So I like to fold mine in half and fold it again. So you're going to bring the roll to the wall. Bring your fettuccine noodle short end next to your roll. And if your noodle's pretty long like mine, you can fold the top end if you want support for your head. Some people really like that pillow support. That's an option. But here's how we're going to do it. We're going to support the back of our head and our spine with the fettuccine noodle. We're going to support our hips with the rolled up blanket. I like to get into legs up the wall by inching as close as I can to the wall. Now here I am, fetal position, butt to the wall, just to one side of my blanket. And then I just throw the legs up the wall, and here I am, inching hips onto the roll, positioning my entire spine and my head on the towel. Now, because we have our spine and our head on this towel, it's helping our shoulders kind of drop towards the floor, which is providing a nice stretch in the chest. Arrange your head in a position so the back of the neck is long, the chin slightly down, and then let the arms just swing out to the sides, maybe in a T position, palms up. Now, if the backs of the legs are pretty tight still, you might want to bend the knees as you do this. You may need to bring your entire roll and fettuccine noodle, aka beach towel, away from the wall so that there's more space between your butt and the wall. That's going to provide a little bit more ease for the backs of the legs if they're feeling real tight. And then settle into the rhythm and pace of your breath. This is your opportunity to completely soften and surrender. Allowing yourself to be supported by the blankets underneath you, the floor, the earth. And if you're finding that your mind feels a little busy, I encourage you to imagine that the thoughts of your mind or any worries that you're having, or maybe even any discomforts of the body, imagine that they get soaked up into the earth, that the earth opens its arms and welcomes all of your compost. Each exhale, releasing whatever you don't need anymore or you don't need in this moment. Release it into the planet. And each inhale, allow yourself to be lightened and nourished by the oxygen around you. Take a nice deep breath. And then bending your knees. Bring the soles of your feet together, letting your knees go wide. So you're like in a Cobbler's Pose on the wall. And then slowly rolling to one side. Stay in a fetal position for a few moments. Let the blood come back into the legs. And as you're resting in this fetal position, rejoice. Give yourself thanks for offering your body, heart, and mind this class. Then gently come up to a comfortable seat of your choice. We'll meet with our palms together. Just feeling into your experience. And if you feel inspired by any pleasant sensations in your body, heart, or mind, to offer them to someone special in your life, I encourage you to do that now. So think of this special being, see their face clearly wherever they are in their day. And we'll send out relaxation, strength, whatever it feels like they could use today, or whatever you'd like to offer them. We'll send it out on an exhale. Take a big breath in. Send it out. See them smiling, feeling good in their body, heart, and mind. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. Namaste.